Okay, what's up everyone? This is Paul Suntup with Suntup Editions, and I have a very unique opportunity here, a very unique situation. I wasn't going to do this, it was just a very last minute decision that I'd made. Signal, there we go, okay. When I was walking around this particular home that I'm in right now, I thought it would be a shame, and a waste not to do right now is in as Stephen King collectors who know this particular collection, you'll be very excited to hear this. I'm actually at the home of Bob Jackson, who has one of the largest and most complete Stephen King collections in the world. And as I was walking around the famous basement, that's when I thought, we have to do a quick little interview and look at some of the pieces. So right now, I have Bob right next to me over here.
Hey guys.
So thank you, Bob, for allowing us to do this.
You're very welcome. I'm glad to have you.
And I figured we would start at the entrance to it. Now I'm going to flip this around. Let's see. Oh, wait a minute. Where's the flip? Where is the flip? Not seeing it. No, that's not it. This is not it. Oh, there it is. There it is. Okay, perfect. So what we're going to do is I'm going to kind of so this is the entrance to the famous Bob Jackson collection, right?
Just about all of it.
Okay, so we're going to walk down. As we enter, there's a bookshelf with a bunch of books on it. Seeing some proof copies. And we're not going to spend too much time on the prints from Michael Whelan. And now we're going to be heading down the stairs into the basement. And on the wall, on the side of each wall, is a bunch of artwork. Most of these are originals, right, Bob?
Yes.
Okay. These are prints. These are the Whelan prints. Oh, I read the thing. Okay, there we go. What we have here is the Black House art. This is the original painting from Rick Berry. We'll be doing a print of this for the Covers collection. So I'm going to continue down the stairs. I'm just going to pick out a few. This is the Dead Zone.
Yes, Jill Bauman.
Jill Bauman's Dead Zone.
From the Easton Press edition.
The Easton Press edition of the Dead Zone. That's the original. And we got here a Don Mates. That's the original Don Mates. And this too actually is sitting with Don right now and he's signing him. So this is going to be a future Covers collection print. Anything else you want to show on these walls? That's interesting.
Got a nice Bernie Wrightson.
This
here.
one?
This was one that he did for that appeared in the TV Guide that had the prologue to The Shining. So he did that for the TV Guide.
Oh, for the TV Guide, okay. That's the original. And this one too is very famous.
This is a painting by John Stewart that was used as the cover art for the Whispers magazine Stephen King special. It is supposed to be Norbert the Weed Eater from The Gunslinger.
Okay, and that was on the Whispers. Yeah, I remember that. And guys, if there's any issues, if you can't hear us at all, just message and I'll see it on the screen so you can guide me as I'm going through this.
Here's a nice Don Mates that
Don Mates
is done for the Cemetery Dance edition of The Shining.
Very nice. And the walls down. Now, well, let me back up a minute because as I was walking down these stairs a little bit earlier. And I tell you what, man, it just hit me. Look at this. Let's walk down the stairs a little bit here. Okay, so here we are kind of toward the end of the stairs. And I just want to show you this experience as you're walking down the stairs and you're looking at this collection. So this is the one end of the room. Okay, and I'm going to pan across through the room. And it's wall to wall, wonderful collection of books. And we'll go across this side and I'm going to kind of step back here, and this is the other side of the room where there's another whole section of books. So this is really, and there's the stairs we just came down. So this is really just a dream for Stephen King collectors and fans. So I'm going to come back to the bottom of the stairs. We got some more art on the wall. That one's Rick Berry.
Yeah, Rick Berry did this for the reissue limited edition of the Talisman.
Okay. And this is a very famous painting by Michael Whelan. This is for the limited edition of Firestarter.
I believe that was the first Stephen King limited edition, and that's the dust jacket art.
You know, Bob has a lot of original art from the Stephen King novels. So there's a couple of comments coming through. Adam Harding Jones says, I think I've gone to Stephen King heaven.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? I know you guys love this. It's the famous basement, Chad Reynolds. The basement, question mark. I'm in the basement right now. I can't believe it. Okay.
So this is a Phil Hale drawing from the Mark Zeising edition of Insomnia. This actually didn't make the book, so this one isn't in the book or the portfolio, but Phil told me that he initially planned for this one to be the cover, but he did another painting that the publisher liked better, so they used that for the cover, and this one got left out. But by the time I got around to contacting Phil Hale, this was the only one he had left. So it's the one I got,
right.
and I think it's a nice lot of nice work in this.
Yeah, I like the strokes, the brush strokes. Down here, we won't spend a whole lot of time on it, but this is an absolutely amazing collection of the Charnel House, Dean Koontz books. Sorry about the trying to get the screen. I'll get better at this. Stay with me here. Okay, here we go.
Dean Koontz and Tim Powers are his main artists, but he's done Ray Garton also.
Okay, so this is a lot of good Charnel House books. And if someone too can, and I apologize for not getting this right, but if anything's flipped the wrong way, just please let me know, and I'll flip it the right way. For example, that title on the cover of that book should be ODD, odd. If it's looking the wrong way, just let me know. Okay, so we'll move over here.
So up on the top is a Bernie Wrightson painting from Cycle of the Werewolf.
Yeah, we all know that painting. That's the original? Okay.
Yeah, everything down here is original.
Okay.
This is Rick Berry did this one. This is another one of the paintings he did for the reissue of the Talisman.
Okay. And this one too we've seen photographs of.
Yeah, this is another Bernie Wrightson original from the Cemetery Dance edition of From a Buick 8.
Right.
This is the dissection scene.
I just don't know. I think this is... Oh, we were going to just look on the screen there. Just take a look if this is showing the right way around, Bob. Just refresh the page. It's so great being here in this basement. We're going to get to some serious stuff in a little bit here. This is the part that we want to get to.
I don't know where to...
Scroll down a little bit. There it is.
There we
Click
go.
play. And you can just mute it if you'd like.
No, that's the correct orientation.
Okay. Is that the beginning of the video?
Uh-huh.
Okay, let me turn it back then. Okay. So let's keep looking. Let's keep looking. So here you've got a lot of Dan Simmons.
Dan Simmons,
Subterranean
a lot
Press.
of Robert McCammon over here. Up here are a couple of woodcut pieces of art by an artist named Douglas Smith. And Douglas did these. These were specially commissioned pieces that Jared Walters had him do for the Stephen King art book, The Art of Darkness, I think it's called. Or Knowing Darkness.
Knowing Darkness.
Knowing
Yeah,
Darkness
Knowing
was the name of it.
Yeah.
And just to the right are a couple of pieces that J.K. Potter did, commissioned for Centipede Press. We've got one, well, both of these are for The Shining.
Yeah, so this here is a J.K. Potter.
And these are digital.
Right.
These are digital images.
Okay. So Jason, we're the right way around, dude? Okay, so that's, this is a great one. I love this one here. From,
Yeah, it's titled The Overlook,
right.
but you'd have to talk to Jared Walters to
How's
find out
that?
why. He actually used this to illustrate another book by another author, and right now it escapes me what book. But it was done, and it's titled, J.K. Potter titled it The Overlook. So to him, it's The Shining.
I understand. Okay, perfect. Feel so much better now. Thanks, Jason. We're good to go. So
Peter Straub.
Peter Straub. Okay.
Another one of my favorite authors. Started collecting him, about the same time I started collecting Stephen King, or maybe about the time The Talisman came out, and Peter Straub was the co-author. I got interested in going back and reading all his back list, and I've continued to collect him.
Yeah, this looks like a great Straub collection.
Pretty avidly.
Yeah, very good. We'll continue down the back wall here.
F. Paul Wilson. F. Paul Wilson has written a lot of books. He's a physician who's also an author, and I guess he's most famous for his Repairman Jack series. But he's written a number of other good books as well.
Yeah, because I know I knew that you were an F. Paul Wilson collector. And of course we have the Christine cars.
Yeah, I got one of these is new, and then I bought this on eBay from a collector who did the distressing himself, and I really think he did a good job, right down to the correct phone number on the for sale sign. And
yeah, mute that out. Thanks. We'll turn it off. Okay, perfect. Love the Christines. And then more F. Paul Wilson down here.
Yeah, all these three shelves.
All F. Paul Wilson.
F. Paul.
Yeah. You got a proof there, I see.
Yeah, the Tomb, I guess, is one of his. It was the first Repairman Jack book, and I've got proofs and F and G's and early proofs. And
Here's a
later
nice one. So, is this the original?
Yes.
So this is the original Christine, which actually just shipped on October 1st. So the Covers Collection subscribers and those who ordered it will have received this print. And here's the actual original painting.
It's really nice. Stephen Gervais works in pencil, and so
pencil.
this is colored pencil.
Oh, this is colored pencil. That's
Colored
right.
pencil.
I knew that.
Yeah.
There's so too many artists, but I can't remember them all. Okay. This is beautiful. So here's the original of the Christine. And of course, it's no surprise that Bob has it. Okay.
A lot of it has to do with being in the right place at the right time and calling these guys.
Right.
And I got these a long time ago.
Right.
And so I was just lucky.
And then we'll step back here. It's your Anne Rice collection.
You know, I used to really, really like Anne Rice, and I started collecting her books, and after a while, I got to where I didn't like her anymore.
Okay.
I still think some of the early vampire novels are really, really good, but I just don't care for her writing anymore, but I still collect her, and when she comes out with a new book, I'll try to find a proof and try to get a first edition and just keep it going.
Let's skip to here. Okay, this is I think what everyone's waiting for.
Let's start here then. This is
Okay, guys, this is it, man. So tell us what's going on here, Bob.
Well, I shelve my books chronologically rather than alphabetically. So I start up here in this shelf with the early Doubleday stuff, Carrie, Salem's Lot, Shining, etc. And I try to get the proof. I try to get a signed first edition. I try to get a review copy with the review material laid in. And I guess I've been at this so long that if I see a nice copy of the book and I think it's priced right, I'll go ahead and buy it, even though I've got multiple copies. It's just what I do.
So yeah, I was going to ask you, and I've seen this before in photographs, but you do have multiple copies of some of the books. And, I guess it's a question that's not easy to answer, because to me it's a very personal kind of dynamic that goes on as to multiple copies. But what would you say your reason is for having multiple copies?
Well, I'm a collector, Paul.
Okay, see, I knew there was that kind of answer.
I collect books. I've actually, maybe today or tomorrow, I should be getting another Cujo proof in. I saw one on eBay last week. It was beautiful. It was priced right. And so I just said, why not?
So we have how many carries? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
I have 6 here. I've got some association copies.
Okay, yes.
In different areas.
All right, let's move on to some. Here's Carrie, great model of Carrie. Get a good angle there.
Up here, I think if there was a fire and I had to come down here and I could only make one trip down and put as much in my arms as I could carry out, I would probably take these 3 paintings.
This one,
right here.
This one, and this one.
Yeah, these are
from the Dark Tower.
Michael Whalen paintings from the first volume,
right.
the Gunslinger.
Right. And these are obviously all originals.
They are.
Yeah.
I called Robert Weiner at Grant one day and asked him if he knew the whereabouts of these paintings or if they were available, and he said, "Oh, don't worry about it. They're all sold. They're all gone." But I went ahead and contacted Michael Whalen anyway. The first time I tried to contact him, and he didn't really know either. It was really odd. These paintings are so important to me and to a lot of others, but he didn't really know if he had any left or not. He said, I think I've got 3 in a warehouse. Let me get back to you on that. And I guess it took 3 or 4 weeks, before he finally emailed me back. He says, yeah, I was right. I've got 3. Here's what I want for them. And, we debated it, my wife and I, but we both like them so much that we went ahead and bit the bullet and bought them.
Perfect. Love it.
But these are like I say, if I could.
These are the 3
if I could make one trip down to the basement and then I had to get out.
These are the 3 you take.
I think I would take these.
You'd take these, yeah. So this one looks very interesting. I know what it is, but why don't you tell us about it here? This is obviously a custom box.
It is a custom box.
You can take it off
Dragonfly
on the table.
made it. Yeah. And these are the galley proofs for The Shining.
Let's put it over here. It's a little brighter. Oh, you got a light. Oh, wonderful.
I got to turn a light, and we can.
There we go.
Bring it over.
Okay.
Bring it over here. But these are the long galley proofs for The Shining. And I talked to Peter Schneider about this. He thinks they probably only did 2 sets of this. But these we can take one out. They're called long galley proofs for a reason.
For proofreading.
Exactly.
And this is prior to the production of your standard pre-publication proof, right?
Yes.
Okay. So there's only about 2 in existence that you might know of, or we only know of 1.
I think they did 2. I think there's one in the University of Maine at Orono's Stephen King collection, the library. And then there's this one.
Yeah.
And there may be others, but I don't
Yeah.
think so. I think they just did probably 2.
Yeah. So that's, you know, certainly a one-of-a-kind type collectible. Since we're here on the table, I have to show off Rachel Reedman's sculpture from the Dark Tower of the Crimson King. We know about this one, and it's just a beautiful production. Rachel, I said it before, I'll say it again. You're a genius. All right, let's go back here. What do we have? These are some interesting looking custom cases.
Here's one that everybody asks about.
First date.
This is a First Date
Oh.
Salem's Lot, and I had
Let's
this.
take a look at
I
this
had
one.
this custom case
Oh
by
my. Let's move it that side,
Dragonfly.
it's brighter. So this is the First Date Salem's Lot jacket, and then Bob, why don't you tell us what that is? The quick little story behind it.
When they published the book, they were going to sell it for $8.95. And the dust jacket, they printed up all the dust jackets. And at the last minute, before any of these really made it out to any bookstores, they decided that the price needed to be reduced to $7.95. So they got all the dust jackets and clipped off the $8.95 price and ran them through and repriced them at $7.95. About 5 copies of the uncut version were found in I think in the artist department at Doubleday. Peter Schneider found them when they were moving Doubleday's offices from wherever it was to wherever it is now. And he looked at these and realized that these were pretty special because, as far as we know, there's only 5 of these, and that escaped the price clipping and repricing.
So there's 5 known to exist right now of this jacket.
Yeah, the key really here is the inner flap with the $8.95 price on it, and the so-called Father Cody error,
Point that out.
they refer to this character as Father Cody when it should be Father Callahan.
Right.
And this got corrected on later printings, so that's the other way you can tell that's the other way you can tell the first printing with the $8.95 price
And the Cody error.
and the Father Cody error.
So how you would tell is we've got the $8.95 price on the jacket and not $7.95 or price clipped. And then we've also got the Father Cody error down here. So this right here, and I never thought I would ever be able to see one of these in person in my life. But here it is. And
just to show you what the
this is a
price
great-
clipping
there you
looks
go.
like.
There you go.
We've got the second state.
That's the second
which
state.
is really the same dust jacket. They were all printed at the same time.
Price
But this
clipped
one was price clipped,
and
repriced at $7,
and
and it still, of course,
has the
has
Cody
the
error.
Father Cody error.
And the third state is with the correction of Father Cody.
Correct, and no price clipping.
And no price, because they reprinted the jacket for that one.
Yes, the jacket was reprinted. So
We're getting
this
that
is
one out
actually
now.
now here's a third state.
So that's the third state of the Salem's Lot jacket.
with the $7.95 price.
Yeah, $7.95.
And you can tell it's not a first edition or a first
Father
printing because
Callahan
they've
corrected the error.
They got his name right this time.
Right. Well, there you have it. You saw it right here. This is Paul Suntop of Suntop Editions, and I have a unique opportunity right now. On the way heading back home after my long trip to the East Coast, I decided to stop off in Texas to see Bob. And it was a last-minute decision to film some of the goodies down in Bob's basement. When you walk down here, it almost feels like you've entered some kind of sanctuary. All right, so that's the Salem's, and you got a beautiful case for it.
Let's see. Here's something pretty cool. This is another one I had a case made for. This is the new lieutenant's wrap. This is part. Well, actually, this is an expanded version of what appeared in Hearts in Atlantis. Stephen wrote an expanded version of the new the lieutenant's wrap, and made little chapbooks, and distributed them at the 25th anniversary party for Carrie. So it's quite a collectible. A lot of people, according to the story, didn't realize what they had because the audience wasn't made up of book collectors. It was just made up of
well, people who are just attending the
celebrities and acquaintances, and they didn't really know that they had a signed limited edition from Stephen King in their hands. So the story goes that they left them at their tables when they left for the evening, and the staff came in to clean up, and an unknown number of them were thrown away. So they're pretty rare. But what this is the book itself looks like this, and you can see that they reproduced King's handwriting, or it's produced in King's hand. But what I have here is King's actual handwritten manuscript for the new lieutenant's wrap, which looks basically like an unbound pages, but I think you can tell this is original writing.
Wait, so this is
his handwriting.
Original.
This is his original
Oh, my goodness.
manuscript.
Oh my goodness. I wish my handwriting was so good. You should see when I write. You won't be able to see what the heck I'm saying. I can't even read my own handwriting.
I think he probably took extra effort. If you've
Right.
seen his recent signatures, his penmanship leaves something to be
So,
desired.
You
I don't know,
guys-
you were asking me about this a little earlier.
Oh yes.
King's,
Here's another Grail.
King's first limited edition was Firestarter, and Fantasia Press published it. They did two states, a signed limited edition of I think 750 copies, and then this lettered edition, which is 26 copies.
So for us King collectors, this is one of those holy grails that we all covet
Yeah, this is
because there are so few of them.
26, and if you believe Stu Tinker, who used to own Betts, one was actually destroyed in a fire. So
We don't know if that's an urban legend or.
we don't know if it
Yeah.
is or not. But
So let's go have a look. Open that up.
no
and
more than 26.
Let's take a look at some of the interiors.
I think the limitation page, I think in this one is in the
There
is
we
in
go.
the back.
So copy I,
Yeah.
July 8th, 1980.
He signed these over 4 days, July 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. And so he signed all the lettered on the last day.
Right. Mm-hmm. And of course, completists will want the 4 editions, or it's the same edition but signed on each of the days. And that's what we have right. That's what we have right here. Of course, right? Of course, Bob definitely has those. We see this from time to time, and it's the same book, but each of them was signed on a different day. So we want to have a complete set of those. This Second Coming is very interesting because this is a King book.
It's Salem's Lot was originally titled Second Coming.
Right.
And probably the biggest Salem's Lot fan in the world, Matt Shaughnessy, wanted to do a limited edition of it. And so he made 4 copies and titled them The Second Coming, and sent one to King to see if he would agree to do a limited edition of Salem's Lot, and King refused. So Matt had 4 copies of this made for his own use, and I was able to get one from him a few years ago. But it's a unique book because it's the original, from the original manuscript of Salem's Lot with the original title,
Okay.
the Second Coming. And for those of you who know Matt, he, I think, reads Salem's Lot at least once a year.
Mm-hmm.
And he just got back. I just got an email from him yesterday or the day before. He just got back from a trip to Durham, Maine, and Lisbon, Lisbon Falls, where where Salem's Lot is set, and he has lots of photographs of the what do you call it? The prototype, not the prototype, but the Marston House. There's a church called the Shiloh Chapel there. He shows the original location of where the supposed haunted house actually stood. Just lots of
Like references.
You know,
Where it was
the
set.
the locale that
Right, the
Stephen
locale.
King
Yeah.
set Salem's Lot in.
Right. So you saw those.
He did.
Yeah. What else do we need to look at? If anyone has a request, so if any of you who are listening right now or watching, if there's a specific edition you want to look at, just post about it and we'll pull it out for you. The Skeleton Crew I see is there, which is a beautiful production.
This is something that people talk about from time to time. This is sort of a prototype for Skeleton Crew. This is one that Jeff Connor had bound up for his own promotional purposes, and this is bound in goat skin. So this is called the goat skin, or referred to now by collectors as the goat skin Skeleton Crew.
Right.
And it really is just a book that Jeff used to promote it. But King did sign it, and said to Steve, who previously owned this, I guess, the owner of the world's only known motorcycle edition of Skeleton Crew. So sometimes this gets referred to as the motorcycle edition,
I understand.
or the goat skin edition.
Now, which was the goat skin with the clasps? Was that there were
Jared,
two of those?
Jared Walters took some of the unbound sheets of Salem's Lot and specially bound them in goat skin with those little hand clasps. And I think one of the guys that bought one made a very substantial donation to the Haven Fund. And by substantial, I think 5 figures. And King agreed to sign one of them.
Okay.
So there is one signed.
We had a request to look at Shaq, the Salem's First we've covered early on, so you can go back after the broadcast and you can check out that one. We covered that already. And we've had a request here for a regulators with bullets, so a leaded regulator. So let's take a look at that one.
Let's do that.
We'll jump right over to here. We could spend hours here, which we, obviously we can do that, but we can't on the broadcast. So we'll just go as long as I can here, and then we'll say goodbye. But I just wanted to take this opportunity. It's Paul Suntup here from Suntup Editions, and I was traveling back and decided to stop off at Bob Jackson's house and the famous basement with his amazing collection of Stephen King books. So what we have here right now is
This is the regulators.
This is another Holy Grail and definitely coveted by King collectors. This is the
These boxes are very tight.
the boxes are tight.
And
I'm gonna sit down.
There we go.
There we go. There we go. And this is the first time I'm seeing it too in person. So tell us about this, Bob.
Well, it's published by Dutton, but Joe Stefko of Charnel House is the one that designed it. And it's bound, I'm pretty sure it's goat skin. And to make it somewhat unique, because there's sort of a Western background to the story of the regulators, Joe decided to make it look like the book had been shot through with bullets. So we have 4 bullets on the back, and
Coming out the front.
Look like the book's been
Shot.
through with bullets.
And then let's take a look at the interiors for a little bit there.
You know, when they
there we
got wood grain,
in
papers.
Yeah, very nice. Very nice.
Of course, they wanted King to sign them. He said, "Well, we can't sign them because Richard Bachman has died."
Deceased.
So this was actually Peter Snyder's idea to use fake canceled checks, and this one is made out to Archie Cunningham,
Christine,
for $10 for some acne cream.
So, Larry, that answers your question, bud.
But there's another state of this book that
There's another state of the book.
people talk about.
Okay.
There was a prototype. They didn't know how many bullets would look good in the book. So the prototype, there's only one of these.
There's only one copy of these?
This is the only one. This was the
Yeah,
so-called, this is the so-called 3-bullet
the 3-bullet copy.
regulators. They thought this would look good. They actually ended up thinking 4 bullets looked better than 3.
And I can understand this from a publisher's standpoint. You sort of you want to create some prototypes, but you don't really know what will look best. And the only way to know is to make it.
Well, they made this and decided that they would go with 4 bullets. But the check
This check
is just,
signed by Stephen King.
yeah, he
And that's
signed
the
it
anomaly.
as Stephen King.
Right.
And it says 3-bullet prototype.
Wow.
Up
And
here.
that's the anomaly, isn't it? That it's signed by Stephen and not
Richard Bachman.
Yeah.
I think there might be 1 or 2 of the numbered edition where Stephen forgot, he forgot and signed Stephen
that's
King.
right. You're right.
And I've
right.
heard of those, but I don't have one.
Okay.
But we have that one.
Wow. So some one of a kind items. Anything else anyone wants to see? Hey, ask Bob if he has number 799 of the drawing of the 3. I need to complete my series.
I am so sorry.
Bob Beamer.
I am so sorry,
Bob, thank you for some.
I know Bob.
Yeah.
Online, he's been around almost as long as I have.
Thank you for some humor, injecting some humor into this. So here we have a bunch of Dark Tower collections. You obviously have a complete matching numbered set.
I have a matching numbered set, and I have a matching publisher's copy.
Okay,
set.
so you have 2 matching
a set
sets.
of PCs, and then I've got the number that I got when I got into this. I got number 2, the drawing of the 3 from Grant, and I got number 566. So I've kept that going, but there's no corresponding 566 for the Gunslinger. They were limited to 500. So I don't have that.
So I'm a big proof collector, so let's take a look at your proofs.
I'll start out by telling you the one I don't have. I don't have a proof of carry.
Okay.
I have.
So guys, you can breathe easy now. Even Bob Jackson doesn't have something.
I do not have a proof. I know of
Even
2.
he doesn't.
I
have
think
something.
I know 2 collectors that have a proof copy. Gerald Winters has one, and I think Matt Fisher, who goes by Lot Guy on the Dark Tower website, has.
So this is a
Here's
Salem's Lot
a
proof.
Salem's, and
So it's shining up there,
yeah, we could pull the shining off.
and there's
We can take
the
these over.
stand. Here, I'm gonna pick this one off the shelf. I'll be very careful with it. I'm afraid. I'm just so afraid to touch these books. And Bob says, "Oh, go ahead. Don't worry about it."
Yeah, don't worry about it. Anyway, here's the ones of the Doubleday ones that I
Right.
have. I have Salem's Lot and the Shining, and the Stand, and
Stand.
the Night Shift.
Night Shift. And it's just great seeing these because, as a proof collector, I've never really, I don't have any of these, of course.
They're hard to find.
Very hard to find.
And when you do, they're a bit pricey.
And I don't know that I really need to explain this because everyone watching will know this, but proofs are basically pre-publication states of the novel that a publisher would put out prior to the publication of the actual novel, used, you know, for proof reading, for sending out review copies to the media and reviewers and things like that. And we can't go through all the proofs because there just are so many, but there are some rare proofs. Let's see. Well, let me think. What's a rare proof now that I'm trying to think of one? I can't think of one.
Well, the UK different seasons
Yeah, that's a sure.
is rare,
Yeah.
and it looks just like the US edition, except in very small letters down here it has McDonald
Yeah,
rather than I guess Putnam.
right. So it's identical, but it just has McDonald instead of.
But this one's hard to find. I'll tell you who has.
This one's also rare.
Yeah, this is
This one's rare.
a Skeleton Crew.
It's a
Actually, it's just a
partial.
few
Partial proof.
stories. I do believe, I don't have one, but I do believe there is a full proof of Skeleton Crew.
There
and I
is,
think Gerald has it.
Gerald has that. Yeah.
In fact, Gerald has a lot of proofs that I don't
Well,
have.
yeah, Gerald came out there with a bunch of proofs we didn't even know existed. So that
No,
was
in fact, he came out with proofs we said didn't exist.
we said did not exist, and he proved us wrong
So
now, didn't he?
Like Dance Macabre, I think.
The UK Dance Macabre, absolutely.
He has.
Absolutely.
And one thing I do have that is a pre-publication
Yeah,
state.
this is super, super rare. I think
of
there's only
the
one known
stand.
state of this, right?
Well, I don't know of anybody else that has one.
I don't know that I've seen anyone.
No, I'll go ahead and.
Are we going to bust this open?
Yeah, we'll take this.
All right, kick back,
We're on a roll
make
here.
yourself a cocktail, and have some fun.
So this looks like a trade paperback
Right.
of the stand, but actually, what it is an ARC or an advanced review copy
wow.
or an advanced reader's
lovely.
copy of the stand that
My
has
goodness. French flaps.
kind of French
Oh, and here we
flaps.
go. Oh, look at that
on it.
publication date. So it's kind of a pre,
It's a pre-publication copy.
like an ARC basically.
I think it is
Yeah.
an ARC.
My goodness.
I've only seen this one. Let's see. Alan Kyle, who goes by Mr. Rabbit Trick on the Dark Tower,
Yes, we know Mr. Rabbit Tree.
has or had a night shift
Like this.
that was just like
I've
this.
seen a picture of that. Yeah.
And those are the. I'm sure there's others. They just don't. Show up.
Jim Orr has a question, Bob. Does Bob have the Keyholes holographic notebook? I read about it years ago and I've always wondered where it ended up.
I do not have it.
Okay, he doesn't.
I've wondered where it is. Where
Right.
it is too.
Okay. Now, how did you acquire the stand, for example?
This
one.
I was just searching on ABE
There it
one
popped up.
day, and this guy, it just showed up. It was only like $250,
Wow.
I think, and he called it an ARC, and I just bought it. And,
Yeah, they pop up like that.
you know, sometimes they do.
Yeah.
Sometimes they
Yeah.
do. Like you just have to be in the right place at the right time,
Yeah.
and I spend way too much time on the internet.
Yeah, well, you know, the reason, Bob, we were just talking earlier, the reason Bob has such a great collection is that you've been doing it for a very long time, since the early days.
I started collecting in 1981,
Yeah.
and I don't know. I've just had a single-minded focus for 36 years. A lot of times you'll start collecting something and then lose interest in it and move on to something else, but I've never lost interest, and I'm still interested, and trying to get a bunch of Sleeping Beauties
Right.
copies and getting my collection up to date on Sleeping Beauties. So I'm still spending way too much time on eBay, ABE.
Yeah.
Way too much time on the internet.
Well, you
but
have
it's
to.
what I like. It's
You
what I
enjoy
like,
doing it, and you have to do that. You have to have that level of commitment in order to build the collection that you have. I'm gonna give you guys a 5-minute this is sort of the 5-minute warning in the sense that I'm going to try and finish this off in about 5 minutes. I could be down here for hours, and I guess I'm gonna be, but
You're going to be here all night.
I'm going to be here all night. So let's take a look at a few more, and then we'll wrap it up.
Oh, this is the UK, the reissue of the stand, the uncut version.
The proof.
The partial proofs are kind of rare, but fairly common. The full proof, it took me a long time. In fact, I didn't get this until Chris Cavalier sold his collection,
Right.
and I was able to buy this out of Chris's collection.
That was a great opportunity then. Yeah, the red, the stand uncut version, that proof is very, very rare. I love the 3 carries that you have over there. You know, I personally collect all the UK editions as well. So when I see the UKs, I love it because it kind of takes me back to the late 80s when I was in South Africa, and these are the editions that were released in that part of the world.
I've actually got a fourth one. This one came from the guy that was involved at New English Library. He was one of the publishers of the book, and I've got his name. I can't remember his name right now, but it is just absolutely the nicest, freshest copy I've ever seen. So I had a case. I had a case made for this one.
Just open up the cover there. This is a beautiful copy. You know, these, when you do find them, they're less than perfect.
Yeah, they are.
In fact, less than. Yeah, this is beautiful. The jacket is perfect.
Well, you know, the pages are a little
they're
tanned
Yeah,
because they're not
sure.
they're not acid free. But I was shocked, and this came without a jacket on it or anything.
Wow.
It just came in a box. And
Yeah, that's not something you can pass
I
up.
felt really fortunate to get that.
Another quick question here: Does Bob collect Owen King or Joe Hill?
No, I don't collect Joe Hill, and I guess the only Owen King that I have is Sleeping Beauties.
Right. Okay.
And I don't collect Tabitha King.
Okay.
Either.
Yeah, I'm a very big fan of Joe Hill's work. I felt Horns was just an absolutely spectacular novel. But, you know, sometimes you do have to draw the line because one can sort of collect everyone.
You can see from looking around the room that I'm really out of room.
You are out of room. Yeah, there is no
I'm
space
stacking
here.
stuff up higher and higher, and I have no more shelves, and my wife refuses to let me put books in the bedroom.
So that's where she puts her foot down. Hey, listen, Bob, you can collect the books, but as soon as they're going to start coming into the bedroom, that's out. There's a question here. How about, Twice the Power? You know, those are fairly, I wouldn't say common, but somewhere between rare and common.
Now, here's one thing about these, and I don't know the exact details. Gerald Winters will know this, but there are different editions of Twice the Power. Both of mine have
Secret Garden.
I think Secret Garden, and there's a version with another story in it.
Correct,
and
Langoliers.
And I don't have that one.
If I understand it correctly, it's a version with Langoliers instead of Secret Garden, and also the typography on the spine is different on that version, and there's really only one known state of that, which Gerald has. And also, this is a good one from Larry Fire about the early stuff, like University of Maine, Moth or Hubris.
Yeah.
So this is publications that came out way before when Stephen King was still in college, right?
Yeah. Well, let's go into.
Let's walk into this room.
Like I was telling Paul earlier, this room is full of anthologies. These are all on this wall. These are all fiction anthologies that have a King short story in them, starting in 1978, primarily with Shadows and going up to the present. A lot of trade editions, a lot of limited editions. I probably have spent more time on these shelves than filling the gaps than any. And then over here are anthologies with King.
Can I sit on here?
Yes.
Okay.
There are anthologies with King nonfiction, starting with 1978 when he wrote the introduction to little anthology that had Frankenstein, Dracula.
So these are
and
all in
Dr. Jekyll.
sequential order,
They're in chronologic order.
chronological order.
Now to the left are yearbooks. His
Yearbooks, right,
Prism
right,
yearbooks and the Sedan from when he taught at Hampden Academy.
And then where's the Ubers and
Yeah.
and stuff?
Yeah, that's in this.
So there's these wonderful, magazine holders where a lot of the magazine appearances. There's just box after box after box of this stuff. But what we have over here is. So Larry, here's the answer to your question or your request.
We've got the Ubris.
So these are the Ubris editions.
Yeah, these were published when King was in college.
Right.
We've got a couple of issues of Contraband, which have poetry, King poems in them. Moth, which was I think has the poem "The Dark Man." No, I don't think I'm wrong. The Dark Man was in this issue
okay.
of Ubris and Stud City.
Here's another one.
Let's see, we've got an Onan that has the blue air compressor.
I don't think you're missing anything of the early works, right?
Um,
The early stuff.
Well, I have a photocopy of the Star Invaders.
Yeah, so
I sure would like.
I mean, this is.
I sure would like an original.
This doesn't exist as far as we know, right?
I think King maybe has.
He
one.
may have.
He may have
okay,
one.
Okay.
He has one copy, but
Was this the earliest, right? Known a piece of writing, or
maybe People, Places, Things,
or
or maybe
People,
Star
Places,
Invaders.
Things. Okay,
I get confused.
okay.
I have neither. But either People, Places, Things or
Right.
Star Invaders were self-published
But-
when he and his brother were.
What about the startling stories? Those are also super. Not these. I'm thinking of. What am I thinking of? The comics.
Comics Review.
Comics Review. That's it.
It just so happens that I can help you there.
There you go. This is like an episode of Let's Stump Bob.
Yeah.
Do you have this?
I can.
Yes, I do. How about this? Yes, I do. All right, we're going to be wrapping up soon, everybody. I just want to do a quick walk around here.
So this is Comics Review. This
Oh, my
was
goodness.
where.
You have a beautiful case made.
Yeah, actually, the guy that I bought these from had the case
Let's
made,
look around the other side of this. I want
and he was he knew the
to.
publisher. But this is the
My goodness.
first appearance. It was serialized in these issues of I Was a Teenage Grave Robber, and these are just little.
Photocopied.
No, they're mimeographed.
Yeah,
Very. They're amateur fanzines.
This is an original one, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
this
these are
is
super
this
scarce,
is
of
an
course.
original one.
And
There's a letter from the publisher saying that he thinks this is the only remaining copies known from an original print run of
My
20
goodness.
to 25 copies that he published in 1964.
1964. And just so for those who don't know, this is features some very early Stephen King writing in Comics Review. He put this out himself, didn't he? With his brother?
Mike Garrett put this out.
Oh, okay.
But it's the first, according to the publisher, this is widely recognized as the first appearance of Stephen King's work in print. So,
Okay.
actually, there was that self-published stuff, but this was published by
okay.
someone beside
I
himself.
understand. Now tell us about this box. I really like this logo.
No, I don't know. I'm maybe put this in the trash.
You may throw this out.
Yeah.
Why don't you make a custom case just for this box right here? That's what I think you need to do.
Here's what. Maybe you can help me with this, Paul. This
Uh-huh.
is my David Palladini.
This is a Palladini art portfolio?
Yes.
Wow, who did that?
I don't know.
It's backed so well.
It is, and I have. I got in a little bit too late to get the lettered edition, but the publisher was kind enough to sell me a PC
Oh,
copy.
wow, that's really nice of him.
Well, he's a good guy.
Yeah, I kind of like him.
And I have a numbered copy, and I just
Perfect.
right now I don't know
Where to put
where
it.
and how to display these.
Right.
But it is a nice box, and what really I think sets Suntop apart from the other is his attention to detail. Like all his letterhead is perfect. All his packing tape is, got his logo on it. And it really is a professional job all the way around, from production to shipping to communication to just everything. You couldn't ask for better.
Well, thanks, Bob. And I didn't even pay you to say that, huh?
You did not.
Wow, thank you. No, that's definitely like to pay attention to the details. So this is actually a good way to store your Eyes of the Dragon portfolio, because it's rather large.
It is.
And so we're going to end off with one last book right now. You've got a bunch of Salem's Lots editions over here. I know I said 5 minutes, but I think that was 10 minutes ago. It's impossible to stop. It's just too much.
Jared published the full leather state, and then he published a numbered state with red letters and black letters. And then Stu Tinker bought a bunch of text blocks from him, unbound text blocks, and that's what these three are. This is really a nice one. This was a trial version that he was going to bind them and sell them, but this one ended up costing too much to do. But it's really a nicely done with inlaid leather on the side and a leather ends. A guy named Gray Parrott did this.
Parrott edition.
And he ended up going a little bit more inexpensive.
Right.
And that's what I got a black one and a burgundy.
I have this one. A burgundy one.
I think he did an equal number of black and an equal number of burgundy.
Right. You see, Larry Fire says, could watch this for hours. Simply the most remarkable Stephen King collection I have ever seen. Thanks for sharing. Fascinating. Michael Vanderberg, is another friend of mine. Bob and Paul, I just want to say thank you. Awesome interview and great to see a live tour of the basement. I think this is the first time a live tour has been done, right?
Yes, it is. People have come down to
They've
my
come
basement,
down, but
and
never
we've
shared
walked
it with
around
you.
and spent some
Right.
time looking at stuff. But
I only saw pictures until now, and great to see that you're doing well, Bob. So yeah, well, this is terrific. I think we should. I could do this forever, but I think we do need to end off. Let's flip around, and maybe we'll do a part 2 at some point. Let's get some light here. Oh, you wanted to show this, didn't you? Or we should talk about that. So this is some Bernie Wrightson pieces.
yeah, those are pages from Creepshow. Some original pages from Creepshow that I got. I think I got most of these off of eBay.
Right.
I'd like to get some more. This painting is interesting here. It's a Phil Hale from the Drawing of the Three, and I really had trouble tracking down. I wanted to get one painting from each book. That was my goal.
Painting from each book.
And Robert Weiner at Grant likes Phil Hale's work quite a bit, and he has all of them except this one. And it was quite a story on tracking this one down. And fortunately, another collector decided to sell it to me.
Well, that's great. So you do have one from each book, or at least from the majority of them.
Except for McKean's Wizard and Glass, those are digital.
Okay.
And Song of Susanna, the artwork is digital, so there are no originals.
And
originals
since
there.
you mentioned Wizard and Glass, a little quick preview is that I will have Wizard and Glass, as part of the covers collection. They'll be coming out next year, signed by Dave McKean. So I'm just going to do one more walk, sort of pan of the room, the basement, the very famous Bob Jackson basement. Bob Jackson has one of the largest and most complete Stephen King collections in the world. We just spent a little time. I don't even know how much time has been spent. It feels like 5 minutes to me, but I suspect it's about half an hour. And I'd love to go on more, but we're going to end off now. Let me flip this around. I am Paul Suntop from Suntop Editions. I was traveling back home from a 3.5-week trip to the East Coast, bouncing around to multiple different cities, seeing a lot of the artists on the covers collection, and doing a few other things while I was out. And on the way back, I figured, what a great opportunity to stop off at Bob's place because I was down in Dallas, so I drove up today and I came over here. Oh, this one looks interesting. I didn't notice that. What is this?
Oh,
Well,
gosh.
that's nice. I like it.
It's
We
a
don't have
won-
to talk about it.
It's a wonderful box. I think
Enough self-promotion.
I think, though, before long, you're going to have to put out a
second
volume,
box.
a volume 2 box.
Right. If I
Because
keep putting out prints.
Yeah, we're going to fill that up
Right.
before long.
So, Bob, we're going to end off. This has been great. I want to thank you for doing this. You're very kind. You've always been very generous with your collection and showing us what you have built. It is an absolutely phenomenal achievement, really almost a lifelong quest that you've been on, and it's really something to be admired. Let's sort of go over to a light here where we can be seen better, I think. It's certainly an achievement to be admired, and congratulations on it. We all, admire this and respect this, and I know that I do. So, signing off, thank you, Bob.
You're welcome.
We
Thank
really
you.
appreciate it, and peace.